Hello and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Research and Creative Work Symposium panel discussion for LIVE, Southwestern's Lab for Innovative Ventures and Entrepreneurship. LIVE was created to meet the needs of Southwestern's most passionate, creative, and self-driven students. This program allows select students to pursue their passion to create a new venture and offers them the opportunity to take their idea from the concept stage to the development of a business plan. My name is Andy Ross, Assistant Professor of Business and Director of Business Internships. It's my pleasure to host today's session with LIVE's co-founder, Dr. Debika Sihi, Associate Professor and John Sheeran Chair in Business. Good morning, Debika.
Good morning, Andy.
The purpose of today's panel is to introduce you to the 2021 LIVE cohort and hear more about the entrepreneurial business ideas they are pursuing. With no further ado, I would like to turn our attention to the true stars of LIVE, our outstanding Southwestern students. Today, I'd like to start with Madison Delmer and Mercedes Gonzales. Madison and Mercedes were in the inaugural class of LIVE in 2019 and have continued with the program this year. Welcome, Mercedes and Madison. Please introduce yourselves and tell us a little more about your project.
All right, I'm going to share my screen for a little presentation. Okay, so I'm Madison Delmer. I am a senior this year, and I'm a biology and business double major.
I'm Mercedes Gonzales. I'm also a senior this year, and I'm a biology and math double major.
And our company is called M&M Devices, and we'll go a little bit into what our current device is.
All right, so this started way back in high school. For me, it was a senior capstone project in my engineering academy class. And what we were trying to do was pick a problem that we face in our everyday lives and find a solution to it. So being an athlete in high school, I noticed that there are so many athletes waiting in a line to get ice bags from the training room. And the athletic trainers weren't making ice bags because they were attending to other injuries that occurred during games or practices. So me and my group of friends thought, like, why don't we make something that we can just walk up to, press a little button, and get an ice bag made for us? So the automatic ice bag maker machine idea was born. So here are two pictures. This was the start of our prototype 0. In this class, we were only given $25 to work with and whatever scraps of materials that we can find. So that's where it started, but it picked back up in here in college when I met Madison, and we had the same idea. She is an athletic here, and I was an athlete here. So the idea still standed, and we picked it up.
Yeah, so we thought it would be a really good idea. We found a lot of value in the device, and so we decided to pick it up, and LIVE was the perfect opportunity for us to do that. And so this is sort of what we did in our first year in LIVE. We did a lot of primary research through survey responses from athletes here at Southwestern, and then we interviewed some local university and high school athletic trainers to see how this automated ice bag maker would help or harm their facility, and we got incredibly positive feedback, and so we continued on with our idea. We applied for a King's Creativity Grant and built a prototype and presented there. And then through LIVE and the help of our classmates, we created a business plan and drafted that out so that we're ready to pitch at any time. The value proposition for our project is listed here. It essentially just alleviates the time and labor costs associated with the hand-making process of ice bags, and helps athletic trainers and physical therapists put more time and effort towards focusing on their patients rather than making ice bags all the time. A shift that we added this year adds a contactless approach, which is really important in our current climate of COVID-19. So it helps to limit the amount of hands and mouths that touch each ice bag and just make it a safer process overall.
So last year, me and Madison worked on creating prototype 1 for M&M Devices, and it was a fail, which isn't it's not a bad thing. So it just taught us that we needed to take a different approach. So we met with an engineer who we went over our design with, and our current design was stated that it wasn't feasible the way that it was built. So doing the whole contactless approach, we presented that to him, and even the idea of having the device mobile so that we can have it in the dugouts next to the games or on the sideline of the football field was a really great idea to him. So what he suggested us to do is to look into other universities that are doing engineering programs that are constantly looking for projects to do. And one idea that he told us to focus on was a medicine dispenser. So as you see here, there's a picture with a roll of medication. Some company has a machine where clients send in all of their medications and they're individually packaged. So we are currently looking into patents that for this machine, or machines like diamond paintings, where each little individual package has a different color of little stones that you can put on a painting. So we are currently working with our engineer to this day on developing an idea that we can present to other universities' engineering departments to see if they want to take on our prototype so that we can continue on with this business plan and further show it to a new round of field study testing.
Terrific. Thank you, Madison and Mercedes. Next up is Lauren Gonzalez. Lauren, would you please introduce yourself and your project in Live?
Yes, so my name is Lauren Gonzales. I am a senior business major, Spanish minor. And let me share this presentation quickly. Let me know if you guys can't see that, but hopefully you can see it. All right, so the project I've been working on in Live is a chocolate bar, specifically a chocolate bar that's better for the consumer, better for the producer, and better for the planet, meaning it has these following qualities. It's ethically sourced because a lot of the major chocolate bar companies source their cacao using child labor, slave labor, and really poor working conditions for workers, which I think is unfair that people contribute to that without knowing, and that there's not an alternative. It is allergen-free, meaning it's free from the top 8 most common allergens, including dairy, just so it's more accessible to people and more people can enjoy it. It's high quality, so the ingredients are organic and vegan and sustainably sourced, so that it can have great flavor, which is arguably the most important part. And I'd also want it to be appealing to children as well as adults. Right now, there's a gap in the market because the most popular chocolate bars are low quality. Hershey bar, Twix bar, the cacao content is very low and the ingredients lists are very long. And the highest quality chocolate bars don't appeal to children. They're in a different section of the grocery store. They're more expensive, they're big, they're weird flavors that kids might not like. So there's this gap in the market where I'd like to introduce my product, which is an ethically sourced, allergen-free chocolate bar that's popular for children and adults with just these 5 ingredients: cacao, sugar, coconut milk in place of dairy milk, salt, and vanilla. Right here, there's a photo from when I was a King Creativity Scholar. I got to actually make the chocolate from scratch, sourcing the ingredients myself, finding producers, gathering the ingredients, making the chocolate, tasting it, and all that stuff. So what I'd really like to emphasize is that it's not a super dark chocolate, even though it is high quality. I think a lot of people associate the two, but it's a light chocolate like children like you would find in a Hershey's bar, something like that. It's just higher quality. Right here, I've placed myself in the market with the axes being low quality to high quality and not kid-friendly to kid-friendly. And the kid-friendly low quality, we have the bars that you see at the checkout counter at the grocery store that have preservatives and different emulsifiers and low quality chocolate. And then in the not kid-friendly, high-quality area, we have the bars that maybe are more conscious of sustainability and ethically sourced ingredients, but are weird flavors that kids would call weird, things like maple, raspberries, different nuts, things like that. And so where I am is where kids would enjoy this chocolate bar. It would be enjoyable for adults and children because we know that everybody likes a candy bar. And it would be high quality, meaning that it has all these great qualities of the other high quality bars, but it's just more appealing to more people, more accessible because it is free from those allergens, things like that. So this is what I've been working on in Live. And that's it. I think next is Ruben and Blake.
Thank you, Lauren. We can all attest that this is indeed delicious chocolate after tasting it at King Creativity. As Lauren said, next up are our next project team, and that's Ruben Garcia and Blake Greider. Blake and Ruben, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you've been working on.
Yes, of course. Just share my screen now. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Ruben Garcia. I'm a senior here at Southwestern, and I'm also a business major.
My name is Blake Greider. I'm a senior as well, studying business and Spanish.
And through this past year, we've been involved in the Live cohort and our entrance in the health supplements and sports supplements industry.
Our idea came about, I guess I want to say probably the end of our freshman year. We just started realizing, you know, there's a lack of attention to kind of health-centered products with pre-workouts and sports supplements. And this was something that we kind of wanted to approach, and we started talking about it, coming up with some ideas. And then Live kind of gave us the opportunity to actually dive into this and really just, you know, give ourselves an opportunity to learn a lot more about the industry and kind of processes of a startup.
Yeah, as consumers in the industry, we definitely were able to pick up on the unhealthy stigma that a lot of these products tend to have. And what our product really aimed to do was to come in to eliminate that in a tangible and scientifically backed manner. So that brings us to our solution. And our pre-workout now new formula is now aiming to have fewer ingredients with a transparent and emphasized approach to a long-term health and wellness. We are firm believers that exercise is a part of life that's proven to release endorphins, which is a really rewarding state for human beings that we can really believe can permeate into users' regular routines.
Yeah, we thought initial consumers weren't really happy with products that were being offered, and when a little bit of primary and secondary research with some athletes on campus and some just kind of bigger databases allowed us to, you know, really just expose this issue and realize what we had to do to kind of differentiate ourselves.
In our extensive research on different products on the market currently, we found that many of the nutritional labels and supplemental facts contain ingredients that prove to be unnecessary, and the combinations of their intakes can cause problems in the system that aren't really quite yet known. So for this reason, we've limited our formula to just 5 simple ingredients, 1 being caffeine to stimulate the natural mental state, 2, beta-alanine to delay simple muscle fatigue, L-citrulline malate to act as a simple fat burner because that's always a good combination when working out, and collagen and CBD isolate to induce natural sweetener, also increase recovery and joint health as well.
Yeah, and just limiting kind of what we put into our product allowed us to kind of target that mission that we were trying to give consumers, you know, a healthier product, as well as pass on like a lower price and kind of keep cut our initial costs. And since fundraising has been kind of a conflict or a challenge we've been kind of looking at.
And moving forward, Life has helped us rebrand our sort of market segment, and in hopes of moving forward, we hope to build a community around this brand, and Live has been really helpful in helping us to get to where we need to be today. Thank you. We can move on to our next panel here.
Excellent. Thank you both very much. Next up is Emily Gottsman. We're delighted that Emily will join us for Live next year as we bring in a new group of students. Emily, would you please introduce yourself and describe your product?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Emily Gottsman. I am a junior right now, double majoring in business and communications. So that does give me the opportunity to join live again next semester. So I'm very excited about that. And I will talk some more about my products. Let me share my screen. All right. Let me know if you cannot see that. Okay, so essentially my product is reshaping the virtual fitness industry, and I'm kind of hoping that my product will end up being a one-stop shop for virtual fitness. So essentially the problem in the market right now is that the fitness industry tends to have overpriced subscriptions, limited variety with each subscription, questionable quality. Overall, the industry kind of overlooks mental wellness, and it tends to focus more on physical wellness. And then lastly, it's been found that instructors struggle to build a following. I had conducted previous research, and hearing back from instructors, they tended to see that it was kind of problematic to get their names out there and to build a following. Once they had that following, however, it made their business more sustainable. But originally, just creating that problem or that following was pretty difficult for them. So essentially, the solution would be my product, and it targets both sides of the market, consumers and instructors. Oh, you cannot see it? Okay, let me try to represent. Let's see. Okay. I will stop presenting really quick and then represent. Let's see if that works. Okay, can you see it now? I hope so. Oh,
I wonder if it's a Google slide, maybe present the tab instead of the entire screen. And
okay, let me try that. Sorry about that.
No, it's technology. It's not you.
It doesn't even give me the option to just present a tab. That is strange. Let me see. Any better or no?
I'm afraid it's still frozen. That's okay. We don't need the
Oh, no.
slides. We can learn from
Okay.
your brilliance anyway.
Okay, I will keep talking. I will share it with Dr. Sihi, and I will keep talking in the middle. Let me send that really quick. Okay, perfect. Hopefully that helps. Technology these days is very complicated. Okay, so essentially while she pulls that up, let me stop sharing. Where I was at is kind of explaining the solution to my problem. So essentially, there is two sides of the market of the fitness industry. There's consumers and instructors. And my hope is to target both sides of the market and provide them with a solution. So on the consumer end, consumers tend to have these overpriced subscriptions that they don't want to submit to every month. They have described that the content is questionable, primarily because there isn't a variety of content, and technology these days, as we have just witnessed, can be very glitchy. And then additionally, subscribers that are, paying a certain amount each month, they want options. And so providing a variety of content with each subscription, I think would really help the consumers of this market. And additionally, my platform would incorporate both mental and physical wellness, which I think is very important these days. And then for the instructor end of the market, I would provide them with employment opportunities, essentially to help them build a following and kind of get their name out there. And I am on this slide for product now. Sorry, I know this is not ideal. But essentially, my product would provide a variety of workouts. It would partner with instructors. It would have a recommendation engine that could tailor the consumer's likes and dislikes and kind of provide them with a quality content that they were searching for. I also want to ensure that this platform is community driven and kind of has the ability to set goals and build relationships, even in a virtual age. Additionally, it would focus on mindfulness and well-being, and it would have high quality content. So yes, that is my platform, and some of the advantages of this would be that it would be a comprehensive fitness approach that incorporates wellness. It would solve a problem for both sides of the market. It would have a wide variety and high quality content and a personalized workout experience for the consumer. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Last but certainly not least, I would like you to introduce you to Conor Medina. Conor, would you tell us more about yourself and what you've been investigating this year?
Yeah, my name is Conor Medina. I'm a senior at Southwestern, majoring in business, minoring in data science. And let's see if I can present my screen. Let's see how this goes. Okay, can you see this presentation? Yeah. Cool. All right, so my idea, I've roughly named it Medina Motorsports. So the problem that I'm trying to solve with my idea is there's really no dedicated space for the car community to gather and share events like consistently. It's always these little pop-up events. So my idea focuses around this group of people and targets them. And I think there's a large opportunity in this. And so my solution to this problem is I want to create a sports bar-like environment, but it's for automotive enthusiasts. So, you know, where you have like certain bars, certain towns where, you know, like in Chicago, you go and there's like a Chicago Bears bar, and they all come together and share that common interest in the Bears. Similar kind of thing, but for automotive enthusiasts. And I think, you know, given this, it provides like a modern, new, exciting meal options and like the ability for me to experiment with like food and all kinds of beer, and also for these people to come and just share ideas. My vision, there's a company in Dallas, it's called Gas Monkey Garage. They have a Gas Monkey bar and grill, and essentially it's kind of like similar to what I want to run. They do more like concerts and events though. My focus would be more on like the automotive side. So, you know, it's kind of that retro vibe, but it's built around like common or modern innovation, and it's obviously like event friendly and like multi-purpose. So like, you know, if I wanted to do like a vendor show or like a trade show, like I would have space for that, and it would also like bring people into the restaurant. And I think there's a large opportunity in this space. And kind of going on from there, the car community is huge. These are a couple examples, like this Colorado Cars and Coffee. I'm from Colorado, by the way. But this Colorado Cars and Coffee group is just in northern Colorado, where I grew up, and there's 22,000 people just in this Facebook group. And then there's on the right is Hoonigan. They're like a really popular car brand out of California, and they have like almost 4 million subscribers on YouTube now. So I think this shows that there's a decent amount of people who are, you know, into this hobby and have the same passion that I do. And I think providing this space would not only allow them to come, but also allow me to like boost sales in my restaurant and hopefully make it profitable. Kind of going off that, I did some research in that projected revenue for single location restaurants. Obviously, 2020 and the beginning of 2021 are a little different because of, you know, COVID-19. So the projected revenue is probably, or the actual revenue is definitely lower than what the projected revenue would be. But it's projected to grow all the way to 2025, and it's growing really fast. And some of the research that I did as well suggested that people are looking for more an experience when they dine instead of just like a sit-down traditional place. And I think this meets both those criteria where you come, you know, you're not coming just for the good food, but it's also that atmosphere that people want. And I also did some primary research as well. This is just one of the questions of my survey. So I asked if there's weekly events, would you attend? And a lot of the people said, you know, when I'm able to, yes, but most of the responses were, you know, often or every weekend. Like, this is something, you know, people love to do, and this is something that people want to do. And I think this fits that need. And I think it could draw in a lot of people, and I think there's really, you know, solid footing behind my idea, and I'm passionate about it. So my rationale for success, you know, target these automotive enthusiasts. So, you know, there's businesses that cater to them, like there's Cars and Coffee that are consistent, but it's always, you know, at different coffee shops. Not everyone wants all these car people there. So I think if I was able to create this atmosphere and be able to stand out and provide like a consistent spot for, you know, automotive enthusiasts to come, I think it just proves my idea, and not only that, it'd be a lot of fun. I think, it's a fun entertainment venue for automotive enthusiasts, and it's something that everyone can come together and share their passions. So yeah, that's kind of my idea, and yeah, it's been great.
Well, I certainly look forward to making the trip to Colorado to be one of your first customers. Thanks to all of you. It's certainly been fun to see your projects develop this year. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Seehee for our next question.
So as you can see, we have a resilient, super talented group. Even technology can't stop them. And we are so grateful for their adaptability and their commitment this year. They've been so much fun to work with. So we thought you all may also want to know a little bit about how their project started and progressed through Live. So we'd love to get your personal perspectives on how you think this project has really advanced. Some of you touched on this a little bit in your presentations. So first up is Emily.
All right. Thankfully, this round does not involve sharing my screen. But originally, when I came into Live, I had a completely different idea. I came in with the idea to create a fitness studio, an in-person studio, that would kind of be labeled as an experience for consumers. I wanted it to be kind of a unique space that would provide many of the similar aspects that I'm looking to provide on a virtual platform now, but kind of have a variety of workout and also focus on mental and physical wellness. So it did have many of the same aspects I am aspiring to right now, but kind of after COVID-19 hit, I knew that I needed to address my idea and kind of create a business that could sustain unexpected events or problems. So essentially that kind of made me transition into the virtual world, because that was the given reality of the time and still essentially is. And I don't believe that the world will ever kind of go back to being the same again. I think a lot more people are adjusting to this virtual world. And as I mentioned earlier, along with COVID, a lot of jobs were lost. And so this made me have the idea of creating a platform that could also provide employment to those looking for a job. Fitness instructors took a big hit after COVID. And so I think this platform would essentially be very beneficial to them because of that. And it would be beneficial to consumers because it provides them an opportunity to engage in this fitness from the comfort of their own home, which is certainly the direction that the world has gone in. And I think it will continue to go in as well. So that is my transition. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. We're so excited to see your project continue to develop next year in Live. So with that, I will turn to Conor and just sort of talk about where it started and where it is now.
Yeah, so I mean, originally when I pitched my idea, it kind of felt like a dream to me. It's something that I always kind of thought about, but never really put like a lot of like actual reality into. And when I pitched it when I was a junior, this was like pre-COVID, and even then, I like to think I'm business savvy, and I probably think more than I am. But starting a restaurant is one of those industries where you hear a lot of failure stories, and people fail in the first years, or they fail in the first 5 years. So it's something that I was like, do I really want to do that? And then, I pitched the idea. I'm like, okay, I think there's some footing behind this. And then, COVID hit and rattled the restaurant industry, and everyone was closing down. So it forced me to look at like modern innovations and like delivery options and like making my food being able to be like transferred. So like if something like this did happen again, it's not going to interrupt my business to the point where it can shut down. So I think for me, it was, a lot of my time in Live was spent on like proof of concept. Like, is this viable? Like, would people actually come to this? Is this something people are interested in? And, I think while COVID, yes, did, rattle this industry, I think people are kind of itching to get back out into the, world and experience with people and events again. So I think this is something, that people not only want, but, especially in a time like this, they kind of need. And I think, what I've done in this class has proved, this is a viable concept. It would just be more like the next steps for me would be, obviously financing it and like nailing down like my revenue, like where my revenues are coming from, and like finding location, things like that. So it's all like real stuff after this. Most of my time was spent just like ensuring like this could work and people like this is something people are interested in. I mean, I sent my survey out with a bunch of questions to all those groups I'm in. I mean, people were commenting on the Facebook post for like weeks saying, like, this is a great idea, like, you need to do this, like, let me know when you open this. People are like reaching out, asking if I needed help with this. Like, I think this is something, you know, people could want, and it's really cool to see, especially when, you know, this idea started as like a dream to me and something I thought would really never work. So this class would give me the opportunity to develop that and prove it.
Thank you, Connor. And as Professor Ross mentioned, we have already bookmarked our road trip up to Colorado to visit you in the location. And with that, I will turn it over to our veterans, Madison and Mercedes, to tell you a little bit more about how their idea progressed, especially since they spanned 2 years in the program.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about it earlier, but this project started a way long time ago in Mercedes's high school class. But when it came to Southwestern, it was still just sort of an idea floating around in her head and then my head. And so being in live allowed us to actually put that onto paper and then physically build the project, which I don't think either of us expected was going to happen. And so that was just immense progress, seeing like we made this, we were able to put this together with our hands, like through our ideas. So that was insanely like beneficial to us and like a good feeling, I guess. It was nice to like see our idea come to fruition. But it's also developed in terms of the actual idea and concept as well, from just that tiny little thing into a full-fledged business plan that could potentially include other devices in the future, to hopefully help out athletic training facilities, physical therapy offices in other ways as well. So we know there is future potential in our company and not just with this one device. And so that's really cool to see as well, is that there's progress kind of in multiple ways.
And then for me, like not coming from a background of business, I didn't know really anything about business when I joined this program. Just seeing that a business plan developed from start to finish and actually having a full business plan that we can present to somebody while we're still working on it, it's still a viable business plan that we can present to somebody and actually get feedback was just mind blowing to me. Like I didn't know how this whole process like started and ended. In high school, it was just kind of a here's the problem, fix it kind of thing in my engineering academy. So actually seeing it develop into a business plan and then seeing how sometimes you actually do have to make a pivot and go a completely different way with your project, and COVID really showed me how to do that. So I am very grateful to experience something that I would have never thought of doing.
Thank you. And it's been so fun for us to see sort of that growth and then that pivot in your continued growth. We're excited to see where it goes. So I will turn it next to my other team, Ruben and Blake, just to sort of talk about their trajectory.
Yes, of course. So since the beginning of our times here at Southwestern, being involved in athletics, we've obviously bonded together over the consumer side of things with these different types of products and sort of the different benefits and consequences that come with that. And through our interview process last year and kind of moving into the beginning of the program this year, our initial plan was to come in with a more explosive, sort of market-shattering product. However, during more research and being involved with our cohort members, we've learned that realized that the market has actually lacked a lot of attention to health. And so for that reason, we've chopped our supplement list in order to pursue more of a vision for long-term sustainable health.
Yeah, I mean, our idea definitely started kind of more of a passion project, and then Live gave us kind of some of the scope that we needed, just kind of the fundamental steps to how do we actually make something happen, how do we move forward, you know, what are some things we're missing out with like cost and distribution and things like that. And so the cohort definitely gave us a chance to get some feedback on just kind of some tough situations like fundraising, some legal barriers, and just kind of the many hats that a startup, you know, consumes, was something that, you know, I previously wasn't really aware of.
Yeah, in working on our business plan, we've been able to finalize sort of our market segmentation and coming up with a marketing strategy to figure out how that would look like, as well as searching through our methods of looking for a distribution model and getting the product out there, really.
Yeah, a lot of the just kind of immersive feedback and just the brainstorming that we've done every week has allowed us to kind of develop and just kind of mold our idea and just kind of learn a lot about all the industries that we've all kind of immersed ourselves in as well. You know, I never really thought I'd know so much about making ice bags and candy bars as much as I do, but you know, it's been a really fun experience.
And the most important part for us is definitely our differentiation and really proving that the ingredients in our formula are beneficial in a more healthy way than others. And in figuring this out, we've learned that startups are definitely difficult. We need to come in and solve a problem and really be able to tangibly prove that each individual part in our product will reinforce our vision.
Yeah, I guess just going off that, some more of our biggest takeaways have just been kind of proving your turnover and investment with an idea, trying to make your minimal viable product, and kind of follow the lean startup method, trying to make something as cheap as you can, and just to prove your idea to then move forward into next steps. And just Live's been a great setting to learn, discuss, and just kind of grow our idea alongside everyone else's.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at now, and we're hoping to move forward and keep building our brand.
Well, I love how you talked about some of the learning lessons, but also your cohort members. You two have certainly been such a valuable part of this program, but absolutely this cohort has been incredible. Some of the discussions that Professor Ross and I get to hear and listen to, these are some amazing, amazing students. And last, but certainly not least, because it is the most amazing chocolate on the planet, I will turn it over to Lauren. I have taste tested it, so that is not just without any data backing it.
Thank you, Dr. Sihi. That means a lot. So coming into Live, I was very focused on the allergen-free aspect of my chocolate bar, because in King Creativity, the question was, can I make a dairy-free milk chocolate bar? That was the entire idea. Once I did that, it opened this door to kind of the chocolate world and all the aspects involved. In Live, we learned about taking in every sort of factor that affects your industry. So thinking about the environment, health trends, social norms, consumer habits, those kinds of things. So it made me want to focus on those things more. And then through the surveys we got to do, I actually learned that not as many people have dietary restrictions as I was anticipating. People really were ranking different things as more important to them, like clean, whole, organic ingredients and a great tasting chocolate bar at the end of the day. So I no longer want to really harp on the allergy aspect. I want to emphasize how it's accessible to everybody, but I also, more importantly, want to emphasize how the ingredients are sourced and how it is impacting the environment and what I can do to tackle the human rights violations that occur within the chocolate industry. So Live has really opened up my mind, made my idea more innovative, and definitely made me more creative just through talking with my cohort members, hearing about how we all interpret different situations and all of our different points of view has been really great.
Thank you, Lauren. We can't wait to see that on this shelf. So with that, I will turn it over to my esteemed colleague, Professor Ross, with a few closing remarks.
Excellent. Well, thank you to all of our Live members for sharing their stories. We greatly appreciate you doing that. You're very inspiring, not only to us, but to students who will continue in the program after you. I do want to end, end our panel with a few words of thanks. I want to say thank you to the Southwestern faculty and staff, the entrepreneurial community in Georgetown and Austin, and in particular to the generous Southwestern alumni who have supported Live over the last 2 years with their time and their experience. And I want to thank you too for joining us today for the Research and Creative Works Symposium. Finally, most importantly though, thanks to the students who make this program so much fun to be a part of. It is a great part of our week every week to spend time with this terrific group of smart and capable people. If you do have any questions and would like to contact us, as you see there on the slide, you'll be able to access that in the recording. Please feel free to use any of the contact information for any of us, for the students in the program, or for me or Dr. Sihi. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the symposium. And once again, thanks to all.